Angel origins. Unlike many superheroes, the one we are exploring today is thought to be a divine entity, an angel. Warren Worthington III, also known as Angel, was one of the founding members of the X-Men. Fans have long wondered why Worthington's powers mimic the religious concept of an angel so perfectly, and what significance this has to his abilities ever since his debut as a founding X-Man.
For the last time!
This line of thought became even more prominent, especially once he developed the powers of healing and even resurrection. He is an interesting character who is seen as the alternate of Nightcrawler. Even though the Nightcrawler is highly religious, he is seen as a reincarnation of the devil, whereas Angel is, well, an angel. With that in mind, we will be exploring Angel's origins, his powers, and whether his powers are actually angelic or not in today's videos. We will be specifically looking at the first storyline of his origins, the X-Men issues 54, where he makes his first appearance, and the multiple TV shows and animations in which he appears. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Warren, relax.
Angel's origin in X-Men live-action movies. We see Warren Worthington III for the first time in X-Men The Last Stand, which was released in 2006. In the opening scenes of the film, we see a flashback of a young Warren. He has locked himself in his bathroom and is seen filing his back with a metallic grater. When his father asks him to open the door, he starts putting various metal graters, blood-soaked wraps, scissors, and other such items into a box to hide them from his father. He is trying to hide his mutation by cutting off his wings. However, he is unsuccessful in hiding it. His father walks into the bathroom and finds out that his son is a mutant. His rich industrialist father, then in his early 20s, was inspired by his son's mutation to develop a cure for mutants. Later in the movie, we see Beast appear at the X-Men mansion to inform them of the mutant cure. Many mutants were outraged when the cure was announced. Some, like Rogue, are very interested when the cure is announced to mutants who want to fit in the society. She wishes to be free of her abilities in order to finally touch people and continue her relationship with Iceman. However, the others are very much against it. Magneto takes this resistance to another level and starts believing that the cure is intended to wipe out all mutants. Meanwhile, at Worthington Labs, despite his father's protest, Warren is set to be the first test subject for this cure. We see that Warren, who as a child seemed to want to get rid of his mutant nature, suddenly changes his mind right before he can be injected with the cure. He breaks free from his restraints and jumps out of a nearby window. His wings extend and he soars away into the world. As mentioned earlier, Magneto is very much against the cure. He goes to the extent of forming an army to take down the cure. He forms his brotherhood and uses all of his powers to transport the entire Golden Gate Bridge and his army to Alcatraz Island. Warren's father is captured by Psylocke, Arclight, and Quill when the Brotherhood of Mutants attack Alcatraz Island. They throw him off the roof, but Warren arrives just in time to save him. Magneto is finally defeated by the X-Men when Beast injects him with the cure, causing him to lose his powers. Later, Warren can be seen flying over the Golden Gate Bridge while it is being repaired. He then flies over a park and waves to a young boy who is watching him fly. He later seeks refuge at the X-Mansion for a short time as well. Angel transformed by Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse. In X-Men Apocalypse, the timeline is revised. Angel appears to be British rather than American in the revised timeline, implying that his family was British but moved to the United States in the original timeline. He is thought to either have been disowned by his wealthy family or they seem to have abandoned him due to his mutation. He then becomes involved in the Mutant Fight Club scene, but it isn't explained how or when it happened. Angel was a member of a fight club in Berlin in 1983, where mutants are pitted against each other. He has defeated 10 opponents so far. When he is pitted against a fearful Nightcrawler who keeps evading Angel rather than fighting him, forcing Angel to tell him to fight or they will both be killed. Nightcrawler musters the courage to confront Angel and defeats him, but in the process strikes the electric fence surrounding them, frying and damaging one of Angel's wings. This makes Angel withdraw and he begins to drink until Apocalypse approaches him about becoming one of his 4 horsemen. In the film, we see Apocalypse graft the metal to his broken wings in some way through his mind. Angel's ribs burst out and turned into metal. Not only are his wings repaired, but they are also even better now. The wings can shoot out metallic knife-like objects, the trade is that he has to work for Apocalypse instead, and he needs to fight the X-Men. Comic origin of Angel. The comics present Angel to us in the 54th issue of Uncanny X-Men. The comic issue starts with Cyclops in a museum's Egyptian exhibit, where he is held at gunpoint by a police officer who accuses him of murder. Cyclops traces back the events to lead to how this all began with his foggy memory. The series of events start when Scott and the other X-Men pay a visit to Scott's brother, Alex Summers, who has recently graduated from Old Landing College. While there, Scott considers how his brother was adopted while he remained at the orphanage and wonders if he too is a mutant. Scott plans to talk to Alex about it after Alex changes out of his cap and gown. However, Alex is attacked by men dressed in ancient Egyptian attire who then kidnaps him. The kidnappers claim to work for a man known as the Pharaoh. The X-Men arrive just in time to save Alex from the Pharaoh. Here, we can see Angel for the first time. He can be seen flying around helping out Cyclops, Beast, Jean, and the others. While helping Beast, he gets an arrow in his wings as well. The comic ends with the Pharaoh attacking Alex and Cyclops, and Alex disappearing along with the Pharaoh. Cyclops finds the Pharaoh well and alive in a tunnel, effectively leaving us in suspense and wanting more. Going back to the main character of the video, Angel, there is a chapter called $1 Million Angel which explores the origins of Warren Worthington III and his origin as Angel. Warren has been an excellent child since the beginning. He is good at school and is a top athlete as well. Children at his school make fun of him for his big shoulder blades out of jealousy. However, their words prove to be true as his shoulder blades actually start sprouting feathers. He starts off with small wings, so Warren makes it his mission to make everyone at school hate him. He moves into a separate room as well. However, his wings keep growing bigger and bigger over the next few days. He thinks of himself as a freak because of the wings. Things start to change a little when a fire breaks out in his school. He jumps out of his window and discovers that his wings aren't useless and can support him and help him fly instead. At this moment, he decides to help the students by getting a rope from the storeroom. He realizes that this is his chance to actually help out the rest of the students, but he is worried about revealing his identity to them. So he puts on an angel robe and a blonde wig as well, which he finds in the storeroom itself. Then he flies up to the dormitories and hands the rope to the boys. He helps them climb down the windows and save themselves.
Excellent. You served me well, Mr.
Apocalypse transforms Angel in X-Men, the animated series. In the animated series, Warren Worthington is shown to be supporting the research of Dr. Adler, who is trying to find a cure for mutants. Like always, some want it because they think of their powers as an unfortunate thing, while some look at the cure as something that threatens their entire existence. Warren also seems to be afraid of who he is as a mutant. However, Warren doesn't know that Adler is already dead. He was killed by Mystique in Apocalypse. Mystique has been pretending to be Adler and helping Apocalypse gain more slaves. Unlike in the movies, Warren is not able to escape before the treatment. He is turned into an Archangel, a new slave by Apocalypse using a machine, and instead of being an Egyptian deity, he is a robot-like entity. In the movies, Apocalypse uses his mind to turn Warren Worthington. The new and reformed Archangel wears a new suit of pink and blue instead of the red and white he wore earlier. He has new super strong metal wings and no sense of self. Mystique acts as Warren to get even more mutants who are unsatisfied with their lives and powers to try the cure and keeps turning them into the slaves of Apocalypse. Apocalypse goes on to threaten the future of the world at the World Peace Conference. He threatens to hurt the humans and mutants who refuse to follow him in his leadership. He uses the mutant slaves to cleanse the earth of humans. Mystique finally reveals the reality of the so-called cure to Rogue. She tells her how the cure makes the mutants hate everyone, humans and mutants, just like Apocalypse does. However, the X-Men manage to defeat the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. During the fight, Rogue tries to slow down the 4 Horsemen. She grabs onto Archangel and a transfusion of power occurs. Somehow, due to the process, Warren stops being a slave of Apocalypse. After the X-Men defeat the rest of the Horsemen, Archangel leaves as he is deeply ashamed of himself. In Season 3 of the animated series, we see that Angel has become obsessed with destroying Apocalypse. He uses his resources to find archaeologists to find more things about Apocalypse. He finds Egyptian stone inscriptions to find out more about Apocalypse. According to the legends, he is said to be invincible. To prove this wrong, Archangel goes and finds Apocalypse. He tries to fight him without avail. However, the fight is detected by the X-Men, who run to help Archangel. But Apocalypse escapes in his ship. The X-Men learn that the ship is the way to overcome and stop Apocalypse. Archangel convinces Rogue to attack Apocalypse directly. He asks her to remember his pain since she is the only one who felt it. They tried to take him head on, but it does not work as Apocalypse is much stronger and prophesied to be invincible. Meanwhile, the X-Men planned an indirect attack by using his ship as a weapon against him, but he had thought of it one step ahead and planned an automatic override. The X-Men were able to work around it and managed to override the override. Since there are many components at play and a lot of technology being used, it is not easy for anyone to manage to win the fight and emerge as a clear victor. There are overrides on top of overrides by both parties. The X-Men managed to capture Apocalypse in a cage of energy. It exerts the same amount of energy as is being put by the one inside. It is the perfect trap. Unfortunately, Archangel does not think so. He crashes into the control panel, allowing Apocalypse to override the cage. When all hope seems to be lost, the ship starts to help Beast again. The X-Men ultimately send Apocalypse into space using the friendly ship as an ally. However, none of this helps Archangel feel better about his revenge. He only wants more and more. His obsession with revenge against an invincible Apocalypse is so intense that it becomes unreasonable. Not even Rogue is able to help him. He flies out waiting for the moment of Apocalypse's return so that he can fight him and get his revenge. What makes him so powerful? Warren is a mutant who may be a Cherafim. Cherafim is a group of angel-like mutants who are fanatics with a strict black and white view of morality. Angel was thought to be either a descendant of the Cherafim mutant race, or his mutation was thought to be similar to the mutations found in this race. Initially, Angel's body started developing a higher metabolism. It lost all body fat and became more muscular, and his bones became hollow, allowing him to run faster and jump higher when his powers first manifested. Warren's senses, strength, speed, and reflexes were later revealed to be at peak human levels. Initially, he could only fly with his wings, but he later gained a healing factor which could have come from his possible Cherafim ancestors, a secondary mutation or Apocalypse's manipulation. Throughout his life, he is transformed by both Death Seed and Life Seed, which grant him various abilities. Angel possesses superhuman flight abilities thanks to his natural wings, which measure 16 feet from the wingtip to wingtip. He eventually lost his wings due to infection and amputation, but he has grown identical techno-organic wings post his transformation. The wings, which are fully feathered like a bird's, have a very flexible skeletal structure, allowing him to press them to the back of his torso and legs with only the slightest bulge visible under his clothing. Angel flies like a bird by flapping his wings. His natural wings have enough strength to break a man's arm or leg, or even put someone through a wall. Apocalypse gives Angel techno-organic wings as a part of his transformation into the Horseman Death. Because of their incredible endurance and composition, their feathers can be launched as fletchets that hit like bullets and can pierce steel. Archangel can torpedo himself through most of anything, blasting through and tearing it apart. Those wings eventually melt, revealing feathered wings beneath, though it is later revealed that those simply appeared organic. After his apparent organic wings are lost a second time, his techno-organic wings grow back and his blue skin color returns. He reverts to his original angel form after killing those who stole his organic wings. It's since been revealed that when he's under stress, his Archangel abilities can return, though he doesn't have complete control over this more aggressive form. During his time in the X-Force, he demonstrates the ability to transform into Archangel but lacks control. However, he eventually loses control. It has been suggested that Angel has an internal flight organ, but it is more likely that he has several small ones spread throughout his body, and that his wings provide additional thrust and stability for actual flight. This would explain Angel's ability to hover for extended periods of time and his lack of exhaustion in his arms and legs while flying. It has also been suggested, but never proven, that Angel's feathers are made of silicon or other substance that act like solar panels, supplying him with the massive amounts of energy required for sustained flight. He later develops a secondary mutation, a blood-borne regenerative healing factor that allows him to heal at an astonishing rate. Superficial lacerations and puncture heals most instantly, while more serious injuries such as broken bones or organ damage heals in days. This healing factor can also be given to others powers through blood transfusion. When Angel's blood is transferred to an injured or ill person, especially if they share his blood type, their tissues regenerate or can even be resuscitated if they have recently died. But this ability is limited by the amount of blood Angel can transfer or survive losing. Angel's blood is toxic or caustic to the Niafam mutant race, including Nightcrawler, due to his Cheiform nature. As far as his abilities go, Angel is a skilled combatant who has received training from Professor Xavier, Black Widow, and Hercules. He is regarded as the world's best aerial fighter, capable of outwitting and defeating much faster opponents such as Human Torch, Quicksilver, and Iron Man. He has aced his fencing class despite never picking up a sword and relying solely on his wings. He has proven to be a worthy opponent for the new Silver Samurai. He is, however, perfectly capable of wielding a real sword. He is also a successful businessman who fortune places him near the bottom of the Fortune 500 list.
The name Angel no longer applies.
Where else has he appeared? He has appeared in other shows like Marvel superheroes, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, X-Men the animated series, X-Men Evolution, and Wolverine in the X-Men. He has appeared in other films as well, namely X2, X-Men United, X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men Days of Future Past, and X-Men Apocalypse. Angel was also used as a character in a video game like Fall of the Mutants, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, X-Men Legends 2 Rise of Apocalypse, X-Men, Marvel Avengers Alliance, Marvel Superhero Squad, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Marvel Heroes 2015, and Lego Marvel Superheroes. Angel was a complicated character with a knack for morality. This black and white view of morality due to his assumed Cheiform mutations is what leads him to positions like those of the animated series, where he is unable to let go of his revenge and pain. Angel is himself a very black and white character that has seen various timelines in the Marvel Universe, which only makes him all the more interesting. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.